Welcome. Let's talk about listening to your common sense. Common sense is not so common. I'm sure you've heard of that before, but I will tell you why people think common sense is not so common and how you can make that work for you in your career. My name is Bukola. I am a career mentor, an inspirational speaker, and I'm a manager with one of the big four firms in the UK. And I'll be talking to you today about when the information, the facts, the patterns, the matrices, when all of that is probably too much, doesn't work, what do you need to do? Look, over the years, you have invested in yourself. Over the years, you have invested in yourself. And beyond that, you have continued to grow in wisdom, in knowledge, and in the stature of God. You have continued to grow. And you've seen situations, you've made decisions, people have brought things to you, you've been able to solve problems, you've been able to provide solutions, you've been able to share your own point of view. So many things have happened to you over the course of the years. And whether you see it or not, you have continued to grow tremendously. You have continued to grow. Me last year, compared to me now, and there is a huge difference career-wise, in my personal life, and generally in my life. I have grown and I can see it is so clear, and I'm very, very happy about the growth. If you look at yourself as well, if you pay deep attention to yourself and look at those areas of your life where you've grown, you will agree with me that you've seen tremendous growth. Now, where am I going? Because you've been able to respond to different situations over the course of the years, you have been able to build some tremendous skill sets that you didn't even know that you have, but you do have them. And when you get to a point in your career, a time will come when people will bring issues before you, or they'll bring situations before you, and they will want to hear what you think about it or how they should progress. Now, this is especially important for those that are in the middle, that in middle management, they are beginning to lead people and all of that. This will be very, very important for you. So people will present you with a lot of issues, and they will act, and accompanying those issues will be facts, patterns. There will be a lot of analysis and all of that. As a leader and as someone who is growing in their careers, you must learn to listen to your common sense. Because people will tell you many, many, many things. People will tell you many, many things. And people will people will show you what they think. And people will give you a lot of information to work with. And sometimes that will confuse you. Yes, sometimes that will confuse you. And sometimes you may have to sift through many things, to sift through the fluff to get into the right thing that you need and into what is important for you. This is what I need you to do. I need you to trust your common sense when you come into situations like that. What I have seen many people do is when they come in contact with a lot of information and they can't seem to make sense of them, they then get thrown into panic mode. And from that panic mode, they also do not make any decision, because they feel like if they do it in a particular way, they may fail. If they do it another way, they may fail. So there is this, although they feel nervous and they feel like they are thrown into a lot of information is being presented to them, they then don't make any decision. So they procrastinate, they lose trust with their teams because they just can't make, and their teams will be like, well, this is simple decision you need to make, but they are looking at it from different perspective. So they lose the trust they should be having with their teams. Okay, so but I need you to get into the rhythm of using your common sense as an heuristic, or as a heuristic that can help you make quick and easy decisions. Now, making a decision is not the issue. Following through on the decision you have made is the real work. So if you think about it from that perspective, you then need to start thinking pragmatism. When people present to you A or B, A, B or C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C or D, you need to pick one, but it's not just the picking, it's the making sure that decision you make or that one that you pick, you then back it fully to make it work. That is what matters. And that's why your common sense is okay for you to use your common sense to make business decisions. It's okay for you to use your common sense to make career decisions, especially when the facts and the information being presented to you is not leading you to the right answer. You need to trust yourself that you are matured enough, you are experienced enough, and you have the answer within you. Let me tell you, sometimes your common sense can also be that you should consult with somebody else. But you must just first listen to yourself and hear what you have to tell yourself first. That is so important, because if you do not do that, you will get thrown around in the chaos, and you will not be able to make any clarifying decision. So you need clarity, and sometimes what you have within you will give you the clarity that you are looking for. Okay, so another thing I need you to pay attention to is that the fact that you're being presented with a lot of information does not mean that that information you've been provided is not a distraction. So you need to learn the art of stepping out of the details, stepping back and standing back. So when you're being presented with a lot of things, we need to think about this, we need to think about that. You sometimes need to quickly get yourself out of the detail and say, what do we want to achieve with this problem? What is this problem that we have, and how do we want to see it solved? Once you've been able to think about what the solution looks like, sometimes you can then walk from that back, you can walk back to the front, so that you can then take the next important step to get you to the solution. So you need to learn to trust your instincts. Okay, so sometimes your instincts will tell you to do very, very, very simple things. As simple as message this person and talk to them. As simple as write this down and say it when you get into the meeting. Something as simple as when you're going into that meeting, you've always not gone with an agenda. This time around, go with an agenda. You will be shocked that what is coming from within you, which is energy built up within you, which FaceTimes for the future, has already seen the obstacles that will be in front of you, and your inner man is talking to you about the things you should be doing. My instincts do not fail me. There's some meetings I will typically go to without having any major prep, but sometimes I'll see a little change in dynamic. It may be maybe one person who doesn't typically attend the meeting says they want to attend the meeting, or something. There will be a little change in dynamic, and my mind will tell me, pay attention to that and do everything you can to make sure that you are on top of your game in that meeting. And every single time I trust my instincts, I do not regret it. So you need to get into that habit of trusting your instincts. Okay, again, I've talked about making a decision and seeing it through, and I'm going to emphasize on that, because sometimes when people have come to meet me, career professionals have come to meet me, they've said to me, I want to go for my master's in the US, I want to go for my master's in the UK, I want to continue to build my experience where I am, or I want to relocate to Canada or whatever. So they have like 4 different things they could actually be doing right now, and they will be telling me, but I don't know what to do. I don't know, should I change jobs? Should I do relocation? Should I? So they were like, I don't know exactly what I need to do. Now, what I typically tell them is, you know the answer more than I do, because you have the context and you have the full information. I don't. Now, you need to sit back down and say, what do I think is the most optimal? Pick that one and see it through. In the process of seeing it through, you may find other answers that justifies where you're headed, and you may see other tweaks that you may need to build into the process. But the answer is within you, and you need to trust that that is it. But once you make a decision, see it through. Don't just make a decision that, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you start doing it. You don't stay consistent, or you don't put all your resources and energy into it, and then you say it doesn't work because you didn't make the right decision. So sometimes it's not the decision itself, it's about how you support the decisions that you have made. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to say to you is you need to learn to trust yourself. You can't trust your instinct, you can't trust your common sense if you don't trust yourself. And so people throw that phrase around, trust yourself, but what does trust yourself mean? Trust yourself means your ability to think and act and be comfortable with the results of those two things. Your ability to think up solution and your ability to act on what you have thought about. That is you trusting yourself. Your ability to think through things more meaningfully, in a meaningful way, and your ability to sit down and create those steps that gets you to the results you're looking for. So a lot of people are so good at thinking. But they are not good at acting. So they will think, they will talk. In fact, a lot of people are good at thinking and talking. Or a lot of people are good at talking, but they don't know how to act. So you need to learn both. Your ability to think. Once a problem is put in front of you, even maybe not in front of you, generally at work, there is a problem a whole team is trying to solve. Go and think about it. Think about a solution to that problem. Then think about the steps that needs to happen to get to the result. And the things that needs to happen from an action perspective that gets you to the result. When you do all of those things, you will see that decision making becomes easier for you in your career. You will see that people begin to tap you because they know that you kind of have the right answer from time to time and your ideas are brilliant. Not only because you can think up those ideas, but because you are so good at acting and taking action to bring those ideas to life. Don't also forget that what matters is the velocity of the implementation of those things you think about. So once you make a decision, put in your best energy to act on it and bring it to life. Okay, so that is what true authenticity is: thinking, expressing it, and acting on it. Thank you very much. I'm sure you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like, share, comment, and I'll be reading your comments. Thank you very much for joining me in this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.